Hey guys, what's up? It's Base Damage Podcast. We are at podcast number 21.
Blackjack.
Yeah, essentially.
21.
Yeah.
25.
Continuing the topic of cheating today, but we got a couple announcements before that. Anywho, this is Kool-Aid. We got
Mr. Joe Schmo.
8-Ball and
Matt.
we really need to come up with another name other than just Matt.
No,
But
the rest
Matt
of us
with
have
the
cool
at
nicknames.
symbols. Actually, I'm digging that.
You're
right
liking
now.
that?
I'm,
Okay.
I'm liking that right now.
okay,
We might
that's
need
cool.
to speak up because I don't know how. I can't
It
remember.
picks it up really well. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we found out.
Hold
yeah.
my beer, I got this.
There you go.
Everybody lean
Before we continue, I hope
Before you
everyone's Valentine's Day was okay.
Kyle's wasn't.
Nope, I got stood up by a video game. How do you think I feel?
Pretty damn bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play P5 as well. I really wanted to play P5. I'm watching Let's Plays of it, but I really enjoy that game so far. That is so cool. I know stuff that happens, and he's like, I don't want to watch for spoilers, and he's giving me this look right
Yeah.
now of if you spoil anything for me.
I'm the same way. I don't want to
So,
play that game.
Best girl
straight
is,
in.
anywho.
I said that's not a fucking spoiler. That's a personal opinion.
Anyway,
Each to his own.
we do have a couple of announcements in. The first and foremost is actually something Joe just told me today when we got here at the shop, and I was like, this is cool. So Bushiroad is having the shop challenges, and our card shop that we go to for our locals is one of 3 shops in North Carolina that actually is going to have the shop challenge.
He's
So
badass.
it's like, what? Because I thought like Game Theory would have been able to get it, but that's whatever.
As of right this moment, they haven't updated. So, February.
I mean, it's March 5th, which is a Sunday.
It is February 19th. So at this current time we're recording, there's only 3.
There's only 3 currently, but you never know. Bushiroad might change stuff up.
Well, and paperwork and blah blah blah.
So yeah,
So at this moment, Game Theory and a couple other places have not done it.
I'll share the link that the store's owner shared on the on our Facebook page. I'll share it on our Facebook page, and if people want to see the details, check out our Facebook page. It'll be up there.
So check this link in the description below, and go like that, and go follow it so you can keep up with our posts.
Exactly. In addition to that, the second match of our tournament was posted for the card sleeve campaign, which was Timmy
And Tim.
and Tim. But Mr. Dead Sea versus Timmy. Timmy, all caps.
Timmer!
Yeah, Mr. Dead Sea won that one,
Ugh.
and at least there was
Salty bastard.
it was full, but my camera shut off like 45 seconds before the game would have been done anyway. So it's like, shit. So extra storage on phones is needed.
SD cards, man.
Well, the weird part is also mine's like weird to open the back, but it's whatever. Let's see what else. The last thing is actually an idea that was given to us by one of the other subscribers, which is if we would do deck reviews. So Dude Man has actually sent me in quite a few deck links for the WeissSchwarz Like just be able to look at the stuff up there and be able to just share them around and whatnot.
That's a good idea. I mean,
So we're probably going to go over a couple of those at some point, and between what just
Well, you two see each other more than we see.
good point because
So it'll probably end up being you two,
It'll
or
probably-
plus
yeah.
Dead Sea over here.
we might get Dead Sea in or not.
Because considering that I live here, you guys live all the way over there.
I mean, we could do it on a Sunday. It doesn't matter.
Or once we get OBS up and running.
Valid point too. I might be able to discuss it over Skype.
That is
so
true.
I think I got that working right. Here's hoping. Cross your fingers. I got some advice from some people and it worked out a little better. So here's hoping. But yeah, so at some point, I don't know if we're going to do it as a podcast or if we're going to do it as a separate thing altogether, like a separate set of videos, but actually going through and reviewing and talking about decks that people want to send in to us. So if anyone wants to do that, our email is on like the main page of YouTube, and you can email us or message us on Facebook. It doesn't matter, and we'll be trying to start that up at some point. That'll be really cool. Any other announcements before we continue? What's up? Oh, you're right. Thank you. Pointing out one more for us. One of the other guys up here at the card shop, they're doing some streaming, and they're actually doing a charity for the Children's Miracle Hospital Network thing. I just wrote sure.
Okay, so basically how he described it is,
Go
it's
for
an
it.
RPG kind of thing. They're sitting there doing open RPG. They'll be doing campaigns and stuff like that.
The Twitch streaming.
Yes, on Twitch.
Okay.
We'll put a link in the description. He'll give it to us. Every month, it's going to be a different charity. So the one he chose for this month is Children's Miracle Network. and every month it's going to be a different charity.
Okay.
And they're going to keep donating. It's a pure donation stream.
Okay.
Nothing for them, just donations.
If you want to watch people play some video games, maybe donate if you want to them for a good cause.
So, what they're doing, they're going to start off with like Dungeon Dragons or Pathfinder or something like that.
Yeah.
That RPG, not...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, shoot, people stream a lot of different stuff for that.
But they're doing it for pure good cause. It's not just for them.
Yeah.
It's to help
gotta-
kids and other organizations.
I just got to get the dude to send me the link, and then I'll be able to post it in the description at some point.
And for what I can tell, you can donate to local hospitals for this through this charity. So it's not just, you can like specifically say, "Oh, I'm donating from here. I want to donate to the local
cool.
children's
so
hospital."
that'll be a thing, but we're gonna try to get that set up, and we're gonna be trying to help them out with that as well, because charity is always a good thing. But anywho, that was the last thing because I completely forgot about that. Thank you. And I have it written up here on my notes. I just completely overlooked it. Bleh. Anywho, so yeah, dirty ass cheating motherfuckers. Everybody hates them.
Why don't we point out the cheating we literally just watched?
Yeah.
Like 10
It
minutes
pertains
ago.
to Yu-Gi-Oh, and I could care less about any Yu-Gi-Oh from now on. Just,
Well, it's a good opener.
It's just bad when
this
you
is
watch...
bad when you have literal judges
Yeah.
sitting there and people, the judges standing there, sitting right next to each of these people in the finals and not catching some stuff going on. People activating card effects they shouldn't be able to. People just purity not being able to do what they should. Just okay. Stop playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
I was
Just
gonna say,
straight
I
up.
opened a can of worms for a reason.
I don't even care. Yu-Gi-Oh is a horrible example for this, and sadly, that's what I have to bring my examples from for regionals. Talking about things in regionals, I have not been to a Weiss Schwarz regional. I don't think any of us here have.
Well, we have to go to Florida or New Jersey if we really want to go.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's true.
It'd be a hell of a trip, though.
It would be
for
a hell of
real.
a trip, but I think all of us are busy working.
I mean, it's whatever. I mean, we know people in Florida. Shout outs to Waifu Wars.
Yes.
Anywho, the other thing is, I've been to 2 Yu-Gi-Oh regionals and 1 ARG event, which ARG is a different group that's hosting their own Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and whatnot. And I'm glad they're doing it because Konami just doesn't seem to have their shit together. I'm just saying. Anywho, so those are literally as far as like massive big events, 2 regionals and basically a money tournament that ARG was hosting. That's the biggest things that I've ever been to. The first regionals I ever went to, I actually got in the top 32. So I got an invite to nationals. Woohoo. Black Wings. Done. Okay. But basically this one elaborating more on what should be watched out for
Yes.
when you're there at regionals, because there's some people who want to win. Like I like to go in there for fun just to piss off people. I will make stupid ass decks just to piss off people. Used to.
Contai.
Yeah, I mean, like even if it is the same thing for Weiss Schwarz, going in and you're like, well, all these people here playing meta decks, I'm going in with like everything's +2 Soul Climax combos. I'm just gonna be doing shenanigans.
Llamas?
I know, right? Or I'm just,
Alpacas.
I mean,
Same thing.
Not really.
like nothing against anyone who does want to throw in a waifu deck at a regionals, or anybody who wants to do whatever they want to.
I mean, if it's strong, it's strong.
That's essentially what I do.
That
I
is
just
true.
I just like to piss people off. But there are people who
Hatsukaze.
are there to win the whole shebang. Yeah, Hatsukaze.
God damn it.
We had to.
Congo
It's-
Bongo.
Yes.
Bongo Bongo. There you go.
Bongo, bongo. Anyway,
Throw the link in there for that video because that is
I
great.
might. I don't know. Anywho, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff you need to look out for when you're at regionals, and honestly, just people just being assholes about
Yeah.
rulings is one of the bigger ones.
Card
But
sharking.
Yeah.
That's a transition into our
No,
first point, right?
yeah, rule sharking. There's card sharking is like that just makes me think of Shark Tank.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Card
it just,
sharking.
that just makes me think of,
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
wanting to make this archetype, and then, the people there are just like, I'm sorry. We're just like taking to a panel of Konami people and just like, well, what if we add this into the game? And they're just like, no, and just get out of here.
Throw them out the window.
Yeah,
Essentially.
That's what I meant to say with rule sharking.
Yeah, no, you're cool.
I got
No,
it mixed
you
up.
said card sharking, I'm like,
Ha.
what?
You flubbed it.
Ha.
Damn it, hot. Hashiguchi, god damn it.
Like, this is one of the bigger things, and it's people who rule sharking. We looked up what the definition is. I guess this was like Urban Dictionary. I don't know where exactly did this come from.
Pojo.com.
Pojo.
Pojo.
Actually, I respect Pojo. Pojo is actually a pretty damn good site. Not for like money trades. It's just like actual trading of physical items, and they're pretty damn good about it. The definition of rule sharking being when a player attempts to earn a win in a match or in a game or whatever by abusing the tournament policies or insignificant game rules, essentially.
Judge.
I mean, literally.
There's
by,
a water bottle on the table.
Yeah, that
which
sort of shit.
I don't understand what the issue of a water bottle would be, other than I mean, especially if it's got a top. That's whatever.
Distraction.
Distraction.
Potentially.
Well, I'm
you could
sorry if
spilling
someone's-
on my cards, try to mess up the field.
Yeah.
Oh,
They could
Okay,
literally
I will
make a
take
bunch
this-
of bullshit excuses for it.
yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry if that's what you have to look out. If that's how you are trying to win your fucking card games, you need to go someplace else.
Or get out of the card game.
Yeah, but
scene
people aren't
altogether.
going to
yeah.
because they're fucking assholes. So, anywho.
I mean,
No, for real. Anyone who's going to sit there and try to nitpick
You're right.
every little
especially
thing.
especially the bottle of water, because it's like, hey, bruh, if you have that bad of attention, deficit. Nothing against people who have attention deficit, because I have it myself. But if you have that bad of attention deficit, then you probably shouldn't be, playing this game because you're not going to be able to pay enough attention to what cards you have in your hand to do your combos. Oh, I'm going to
Damn.
synchro to summon that chicken. I mean, what the fuck is that shit?
I mean, not literally, but it's the fact of, a butterfly. Hey, Chris, what's up, bro?
That way.
Hey, we actually just mentioned the children's thing.
Oh,
So,
cool,
we're actually
thank you.
already recording. Yeah. But anywho, actually, this is a good point. We just had a random walk-in, but it's all cool. How many, no, speak up, bro. It's all good. How many regionals have you been to? As far as, I don't care if it's MTG, anything. What's, like how many, like, have you been to any?
4?
Four regionals. Like, how big were they? Like, nationals, just regionals?
Just regionals.
Just regionals?
50 to 60.
Okay. How bad have you had to deal with people rule sharking?
Not at all.
Really not. I've actually had to deal with so many of them from.
I've never done it for Weiss though, so I don't know that.
Well, no, we're just talking about overall.
Like,
overall.
we've never been to a Weiss regionals, but I've been to Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's more what I'm having to bring stuff from.
I have nothing nice to say about that game, so I'm not gonna
I can't say I blame you.
comment on that.
But
But,
the big thing was rule sharking. It would be like, oh, you're readjusting your field. I'm calling a judge over because you're not allowed to do that.
That got brought in big when there was a Alien Infiltrator was when that was brought out in Yu-Gi-Oh. It literally states you could attack your opponent directly if there was no monster in front of it in the adjacent monster card zone. That's about the only time that really placement of where monsters were on the field
Mattered.
actually became a fucking issue. But and it's talking about people who will nitpick any little thing. So I guess one of the lot of things you'd have to say for that is you got to be careful how you're playing and how you're adjusting everything. As far as
It really
as far
comes
as that's
down to the
concerned.
individual person, from what I've noticed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened from time to time, but it really comes down to, if that person's having a good day, then they really don't care.
Yeah.
And then other people who are having a bad day and might have lost the match before, they're like, oh, no, fuck this, I need to win, so I'm going to call every bullshit thing I can.
Yeah, essentially. So, good point. Personality comes down to a lot on that. One of the things we actually talked about in the last podcast was people slow playing.
Yeah.
And I kind of made a mental comparison to that. Is to my understanding with this specifically in Yu-Gi-Oh. Obviously people having to call for a judge. You got as many judges there in the regionals as you can to try to help. They get a whole bunch of people. Oftentimes, if someone is not happy with how that judge rules it, they can appeal to the head judge.
Yeah.
So, hey bro, what's up?
Much.
It's all good. They will try to appeal to the head judge, and only when you appeal to the head judge is when you're able to ask for like a time extension. So most of the time, they'll just try to bullshit there with just the judge that comes up and not the head judge. Obviously, because head judge's thing is the final word on it.
Right.
But they'll sit there and try to just bullshit the thing and try to... Because you can't get a time extension off of that. To my understanding, unless this has been changed, you can't get a time extension unless it's from the head judge. So they're sitting there trying to bullshit the judge who's there trying to say, I'm sorry, you can't do this.
They're going to snake for every second of time that they can
Yeah,
get.
and be able to... I mean, you do that too many times, they're going to give you... They're going to catch on and be like, I'm sorry, you keep this up, we're going to DQ you, and be like, get the fuck out. But that's something that I saw happen way too much. And it was complete and total fucking aggravation. to say the least. Like,
Don't ever play Warhammer then.
Oh, I'm sure.
How bad is that?
Oh my God, you bumped the
Literally,
table.
because
All
the
this
games
shit
are,
shifted.
Well, no, not even that. The games are timed, so you will have people who will purposely bring an army that can never win, but has like 60 models,
Yeah.
and then slowly activate each one, and you'll get 2 turns in an entire 2.5, 3 hour game.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, slow play is a huge problem with Warhammer.
Yeah. I've never been on that end because I've heard and seen some play of Warhammer, but it's more here. I've seen people doing it here at the locals, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But as far as that, like, that's one thing I like about Weiss is the fact that it's one game for the most part.
And for the most part, they're also fast paced.
They're, I mean, if you know what you're doing, there's still going to be people
Yeah.
who will slow play. I'm not calling any names out. That's whatever. But I could, but I won't.
I think there's also a difference between slow playing and,
Strategizing.
well, not even just strategizing, but not being 100% confident
On your own
with
shit.
your deck.
Yeah.
Like not knowing the ins and outs.
I can
of it.
understand that.
That's what that's actually another thing we mentioned was
New
there's
armor.
a difference of a new player going, I'm sorry, I meant to do something else. Can I take this back? And
Yeah.
as opposed to someone doing it on fucking purpose,
Yeah.
try to bait out stuff type thing. So yeah, but that got into the thing of people will try to call over judges, not even try to appeal to a head judge at all, and just be like, okay, we just stalled out having to call for a judge, having to wait for a judge to come over. And even if you can get a time extension off that, they only put like 2 or 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. Even with the head judge, that's only a couple minutes. But it wastes, 10 minutes to get them over there. And it's like, fucking shit. And then you have to sit there and explain the game state of what everything, little thing that just happened. And they'll try to argue what just happened. They'll say, no, you didn't do that. Or you that monster wasn't in attack mode, or whatever the fuck you want to say.
And at that point, this is one game of a 3-game best out of 3 match. So.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's best two out of three. I'm not saying that this happens with every single game you're ever going to be playing in.
But you've seen some shit happen at regionals.
It was stupid.
Granted, last podcast we talked about some shit we'd seen at locals, and well.
Yeah, locals is bad enough. Okay, get this. Okay, you talk about the ARG event. I'm sorry, I'm just preaching. If anybody wants to throw in anything, just go for it.
I got one, but I'll wait till you're done preaching.
Go
If you
ahead.
go-
I've already been talking for a bit.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, I was going to talk about the sleight of hand thing Avery was talking about last time. We all.
Oh yeah, because we actually went out in the parking lot, was talking about a whole bunch of stuff.
So
Okay.
basically, they were joking around talking about how they can slip in a card.
Talk about like other ways. I
Bandit
guess
Keith
when I
style.
jokingly said Bandit Keith style and sliding in cards, you mentioned another thing. He mentioned. I actually like how this is done. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. If I start talking about it, I'll start laughing in the middle of it. I'll stop.
Okay, this is okay. It's one thing to draw too many cards and or try to add more cards in. He said he's actually seen people not draw
Yep.
and then say,
Oh, you have too many cards.
and then say, "I'm sorry, sir, you have more cards than me. How did you get more cards than me?" And but by purposely not drawing, so it changes up that number
Right.
without actually adding cards, because it's one thing to try to hide a card or try to draw 2 more cards and look shady as fuck on stream or whatever.
Because we were talking about how sometimes people would hide cards on the mats.
Yeah.
And then like slide it
I
out.
mean, they would try umpteen under ways, and then people are like, "Oh, well, we just not draw, and we can get them DQ'd anyway." I mean, it's like, or just like when it comes around to when you would draw, there's how many cards in your hand? Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and completely skip the draw thing, and then a few moments later be like, "Wait, how many cards have you drawn? How many cards are in your hand?" And go on about that, and just be like,
Well, to be perfectly honest, there's a ridiculous amount of ways you can cheat if you really want to.
exactly.
Especially if you're going to rule shark.
I just never
everyone
heard
for
about
cheating.
that. I just said never heard about that of not drawing. I was like, as much as I hate that, that's actually kind of smart.
I mean, to be perfectly
I hate to
honest,
say that.
you could actually use that in Weiss to cheat, because if you're about to refresh for damage that
How
would fuck you up, it's
How
just
weird
not
would
drawn.
that be? Like, I mean,
That's
I've
had games come down to it. You've had games come down to it.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
I mean,
different when it comes down to you have exactly 1 damage left. That's whatever.
well, yeah, but if no one's actually counting the number of cards in your deck, or you have 4 cards in your deck and you want to swing with 3 characters and not
You'd
take
have to-
refresh for game,
You'd have to do that early on.
yeah, you'd have to do.
You wouldn't be able to get away with that late game. There's so many cards have changed places, done everything
Yeah.
else.
You got a
There's
point there.
literally no way you could try to call somebody on that. If you try to do that at the beginning of it, I can
I'm
see
not
that
talking
happening.
about calling bullshit when they draw a card for
No, I'm
actual
saying as far as-
amount of hand. I'm talking about
Yeah.
bullshitting on not drawing, so there's enough cards in your deck so you can trigger to not lose from taking refresh or to
Oh,
avoid
okay.
taking
I
refresh.
thought you were still talking on the. Oh,
No.
you have more cards than me. I'm sorry.
I mean,
thought
you've
that's what
had a
you were
game
on.
come down to, do I swing? Because if I do, I might refresh for game. I've had
Yeah.
the same thing happen.
Yeah. Like,
I mean-
do I win off of this before I swing one more time and refresh? Yeah.
Like
No,
last week for Titans, if it wasn't for some slightly timey rulings on effects, I would have literally swung to refresh myself for game, attempting to win. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable.
I'm gonna draw that card.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
now-
a clock to draw two cards, but only one because I'm gonna scoop one. That sort of thing.
Okay, I see where you're going to. I thought you were meant like something else entirely. Okay, cool. Let's see what.
That's a less likely, but that's just part of the aspect. If you
Yeah.
want to cheat in a card game, you can cheat.
find a way.
You can find a way easy.
It's an aggravation.
If
that
it
I
can
have to
be
deal with.
dreamed, it can be done.
That is true.
Essentially, well, that just brought up an interesting slew of stuff in my head, but that's whatever.
Oh my!
Thinking about cheating now, Billy? Is
No.
that what? Is
Hey,
that
who
what
He
says
don't
I
need
ha-
to cheat. His decks are deadly enough.
Yeah.
Apparently, clock shoot
Fucking
OP. What?
contact.
Yeah.
No, alpaca OP. What are you
Alpaca
talking
very OP.
Fuck the alpacas.
Okay.
I mean,
One of the. What-
Shut up.
But to go on a different story, I apologize if I just sound like I'm talking too damn much. But another story that happened. One of the things I mentioned I went to was the ARG event. This was in
Yeah.
Charlotte. It was me and two other guys from our locals.
Did we talk about this last time?
We talked
We
about it out in the parking lot.
Oh, we talked about it in the parking lot.
I did not get a chance to actually.
Yeah,
I did not
this is-
actually say it on here because I wanted to save it for this podcast.
yeah, guys, this is bullshit at its
Okay, this was
finest.
hilarious.
Continue. I have to make an important phone call. I'll
Oh,
be right back.
you're good.
Sorry.
Okay, that's cool.
Stop
like
doing
that,
phone
but-
sex with Nozomi, dude.
Oh my God. It's cool.
Bro, I wouldn't be here if
Yeah, that's very true. Anyway, Chris, you want to bring it in? It's all good. Like, I don't care. Just hop on. Okay.
Get her done, dude.
But this is a very interesting thing that occurred with my buddy, Josh and Robbie. The specific thing happened to Robbie. Do you know Robbie Deans? No. Okay, I don't know if you knew him from out here or whatever. The specific thing happened, and this was pretty freaking insane. Basically, this is going on the topic of marked cards. Because there are people who will try to cheat by marking their cards so they know when they're going to draw something. I guess specifically for Weiss Schwarz, it would be knowing where your climaxes are. Or knowing, like, the next card of your deck being a climax or not.
The My Valentine technique,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with smell, I can't do that.
Well, I mean, she marked. The point is, she marked the
Yeah.
cards.
Yes.
She knew exactly which one was which based on the smell of the perfume.
Yeah, so even outside of that,
ridiculous.
I know, but this was in the show.
Why the hell would you
Yeah.
spray a card with perfume? That
Yeah.
ruins the card.
I would never notice because I can't smell. So I'd be like,
So
well,
you'd have to
damn,
put-
they're pretty good at this, you know. So, anywho,
Fuck me.
why am I sneezing insane? But actually, this is not just people marking their cards to know where their cards are, but people marking other players' cards.
Yeah.
This happened
Oh.
to my buddy Robbie, and he had made a very interesting, very unique deck. It was like a weird combination of Volcanics and Nurse Burn. If anybody knows those archetypes, have fun, look it up. It's whatever. To the point that, when he went to turn in his deck sheet to the judges, and they had to approve and make certain there was no, like, the correct number of cards for the ban list and all was up there or whatever. He literally got like a handshake from the judge. He's like, bro, this is a really interesting deck. Nice job. He got a handshake from like the head judge, and he's just like, okay, cool. Like he looked at it and he was like, this is unique as hell.
Yeah.
But because of how unique it was, people like were calling him out on it a whole bunch, thinking that he was stacking. When I know Robbie, he's a cool guy. He's weird, but I've never known him to ever mark his cards or cheat. And I've known him for a good while now. But in specific, someone else, basically in the first game, probably just said, hey, because one of the things you could do is ask, hey, can I check your graveyard or waiting room, whichever, the
knowledge.
discard pile of whatever game you're playing.
Yeah, this does run into public
And
knowledge.
the dude looked through. We actually didn't notice this till later, but Robbie remembered that the guy did look through his graveyard, and Joe is back. So, anywho, and the dude marked one of Robbie's the back sleeve of one of Robbie's important cards for his combos. It was a draw card, Magic Planter, but it was a spell card. And he just barely with his fingernail nicked the back of it, and basically by the second game, when he saw Robbie was about to draw that card, he called the other dude called the judge on Robbie, and said that I tried to accuse Robbie of stacking. And he's just like, how? He's just like, he's been stacking that spell card, Magic Planter. It's probably on the top of his deck right now. Judge said, don't look. To Robbie. Looked, and it was Magic Planter right there. So they disqualified Robbie from that because they thought he was cheating legit. And then after the round, I had finished my round, and I come over there, and Robbie's like, yeah, I've been disqualified. And I'm like, how the hell? Your deck's not that weird. And he's like, they said I was stacking. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell. I literally just dropped from the tournament at this point. I am so mad. Josh loses his next round, and we all just leave for the day. And so we're talking about this, and we're discussing this stuff, and I go, wait, Robbie, give me your deck. I look at it, and it wasn't just that one Magic Planter. It was like several cards. The dude had put like marks in different spots, and had just barely enough, picking up a couple cards, and just being able to go, reading it like that. Like I know I can't really visually show this on an audio podcast, but taking and just pressing with the index finger in the back of your thumb right there where you'd be holding the card at, and just press, and it's a little indent right there, and goes, okay, put it back. But because you're putting that back and where the sleeve would be facing down, you're not going to notice that unless you actually pick back up your own fucking cards and look. But Robbie got DQ'd because of this, and I'm sitting here like, this is the most stupid bullshit ever. Like, I'm sorry.
And didn't you call what the cards were?
I specifically tried to say like
what would it be that he would mark? And you said Magic Planter, and there's another card.
There was like two other big cards that did combos for the deck between like the volcanics and whatnot.
And those were the only ones that were marked, and they weren't marked when he went
like
in.
Two of them were Magic Planter, straight up. And it was the fact of degenerate motherfuckers having to do that to try to win a card game. I don't care if it was a money tournament or not. I'm sorry, if you agree that, if it was for a money tournament, that should be okay. It's not.
There's never an excuse for cheating. It's never okay.
Fuck no.
Well, you gotta cheat to win. You're a pussy. Get out of the game.
That's true.
You were gonna say?
What's another aspect of the thing is that there are so many ways to cheat, but you really have to think about exactly how bad it is if you're going to make it look like your opponent cheat. That's a whole nother level. Cheating yourself is whatever, but doing shit to make it look like your opponent cheated is just another step above. Like, really, bruh?
Yeah.
And this is why
that's ass whooping worthy.
Yeah. Once I heard this story, I was like, no, that's why I don't do tournaments.
Josh is a big dude. I was afraid he was about to go over there and get the dude.
This is why I'm second guessing on doing regionals, because I feel like I would come across that asshole, and the moment I see him do that to Nico, Nozomi, whoever of my decks, I will get DQ'd for punching a guy in the face.
Notice that he said Nico
There wouldn't be
first.
a punch in the face.
Actually,
because there's
fucking head off.
Look, the reason why I say that is because she's been treating me right recently, and if I go to her regionals,
anyway,
I'm going to
Nico
run
gets
her.
marked, somebody's ass is going 6 feet under.
And then if Nozomi gets marked, it's a different story.
Nah, there's going to be bloodshed everywhere.
Yeah.
At that point, somebody's soul is being stolen.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that, but
oh my god.
I swear to God, if I ever see that.
So yeah, especially like marking your stuff, not just their own.
Yeah.
Like, there came to be an issue where people would, because of some of the card sleeves I've seen, you can still see the back. You can still see, it says Weiss Schwarz through the back of it.
Yeah.
And people would try to just do little bitty things here and there and still be able to see barely through the back, be able to see how the back of the card was marked. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. Quit that shit. Anywho. Do you have any crazy stories for this, Chris? I'm just regaling people with my tales.
Card games with cheating? No, because I don't take any game I play really serious enough, whether it's at a cash tournament or not. I think of a game as a fun way to play a game with people, and if you want to cheat to win, I don't care about winning or losing. I enjoyed playing the game. Now, if you're a dick to me during it, like, you can cheat on me all you want and win the game, as long as I don't, like, you're not a dick to me about it, I don't care. Now, if you did some stupid stuff like that and try and pin it on me, then I'll be upset.
I mean, have you ever heard of any... It doesn't have to be something that's happened with you or a group of people that you've went, but have you ever
heard of things?
Have you heard of any other, like, weird ways of cheating like that? Because we're wanting to basically be able to tell
There's
people
a
what
very
to look out
popular
for.
way that my one friend actually got caught doing, and
Here we go.
this is bad.
No names, no names.
No, of course not. This was back when I lived up north, but on the magic cards on the back, there are one dot for each color.
Okay.
And similar to the sleeves that you could see through, he would dot
Like clear, or you talk about just like
No,
even
just
if
so you can see through.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing was, certain cards he would go over with an actual Sharpie marker on that colored dot, so it was darker.
Oh god.
Oh.
So you can't tell just at a quick glance because it's a blue dot and it's a blue dot. But when
Why do you
you're
have
that,
two black dots? There's not
Yeah.
two swamps on the back
But
of
when
this.
you're looking that close at it and you're the one in front of the deck, you're like, oh, okay, I know what's next. And he
Good
would
point.
actually do that because there's 5 dots, so he used 5 different colors to determine which cards were there. Yeah,
I'm
he was
sorry.
a bad person.
So yeah,
I don't talk to him much anymore.
can't say that I blame you at that point. Any more stories on your end? Granted, even though you said you don't have regional stories, any other local stuff that's happened around here?
Well, just casual play. I have this one person who likes to try and retract everything if he doesn't go the way he does.
Okay.
Even after like it's been done, like so.
Is it who I think the one who's been banned from the store?
No, it's not him. This is like outside the store.
Okay.
I'm gonna do all these pumps and then I'm gonna swing. Well, I'm gonna play a backup. I mean, never mind. I'm gonna.
It's pretty much what happens.
Yeah.
And
For Weiss or like Vanguard?
for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
That's why.
That's why. Yeah.
I'm a swing. Well, I'm gonna
I
play
hate that game
Mirror
so
Force.
much.
Oh no, man. I mean, I didn't mean to.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't really have any. Hopefully this year I get some regional experience.
I mean, I'd like to, but yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that after this.
Yeah.
But I don't really have anything that stands out because I already told about my. I'm getting picked up. I said right there. Well, freaking. Anyway, so all the card fight stories I told last time.
Okay.
Weiss, there really hasn't been any cheating besides the one person, and we talked about that last time.
Yeah. Excuse me. Feels good.
All my stories are out there pretty much.
Okay. Matt,
I really can't say it. I mean, I don't really play card games like that.
like regional, like big tournament.
Yeah, I've never actually been to a big tourney. I've been to like a couple local events for prizes and things, which is where I discovered I'm not particularly fond of tournaments. But that's because people just get salty as fuck over little bullshit, especially in Magic. But
That's a separate podcast altogether.
Yeah. But you'll.
Horror stories.
Hey, that's the damn truth.
The only thing
I
I
could-
can really think of is people bullshitting me on rulings of cards that I didn't understand. But we also covered some of that in the last podcast.
Actually, this is kind of relevant. Talking about like salty bullshit. I've known some people to have gotten their deck stolen,
Yeah.
and they found out it was their opponent that they were about to play.
Oh no.
Different thing. No,
No,
I've
no.
had several decks stolen over the years. Strangely enough,
No, not here.
Mostly Yugi Mans.
this was
Okay.
mostly never here.
Okay, I was
This
gonna
is-
say.
no,
wait a
we
minute, I
would-
got some stuff sitting on the table like right now.
No.
What's happening?
if they get, we have cameras up in here now, so it's
Okay.
like they'll
Yeah.
get caught.
No, we straight.
And it's,
No.
and it's Yugi Mans. If you talk about people doing really shitty
It
stuff,
always comes back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Oddly enough.
Apparently, no.
Yu-Gi-Oh's a shitty game.
I've known people who
it is now.
yeah, they've gotten their deck stolen and later found out that it was their opponent that had taken it. So they can't play against their opponent for that round. And it's like, okay, well, fuck.
Just saying, this is why tabletop RPGs are really cool because you can't cheat.
I
Roll
mean,
a
that's
die in
not
front of
true.
everybody.
Yeah,
You
okay,
can't really cheat.
well.
Unless you're the dungeon master, you can't cheat. Everything is done publicly in
What
front of the dungeon master.
what about loading dice?
So here's
How
the thing.
easy is that? Because I'm not asking
Oh,
you
yeah.
to be able to know how to load dice. I'm just saying.
No, there's actually, it's really extremely hard to make your dice loaded. But the problem is, a lot of dice, the best dice to use are actually either the stupidly expensive, perfectly balanced ones, or completely clear dice.
Yeah.
That way you can see if there are no bubbles. That way you're not going to
The
roll
problem
on the side.
is that, especially with large manufacturers, which I don't think I'm allowed to say the manufacturer, I don't know.
Yeah, don't say names.
So, but with large manufacturers, they produce so many and they have so many different colors. Like a 5-color die, they just shove all the resin into the mold and then they flash freeze it pretty much after melting it. And
Where things
that's the
haven't
die.
solidified type
Exactly.
thing.
So
Okay.
like one color might solidify a little bit more than the others. So you'll constantly see like, okay, this naturally rolls high.
the balance is off.
Yeah, there is a way to test it. You drop the die in a cup of water with salt until it floats, and then you just constantly push down. And if it always changes to a different number, it's good. A lot of times you'll see.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah, a lot
This
of
is
times you'll
interesting.
see that it pops up to like a 16, 16, 16,
Yeah.
16 because the balancing is off.
Okay, because for card games you could do that to see who would go first type thing and try to always make it so. I've seen that where some person they would have 2 dice and they'd have one person 1 dice and they would roll their own
Yeah.
and I could see where somebody would try to do something like that, some shady bullshit, and make it so, oh, well, I'm going first, I'm going to do this FTK. Done.
Yeah.
Because if I can go ahead and get my setup and you don't have any cards on the field, I can get what I want done. So that's usually where you'd have to watch out.
Or you could do the same thing in Force, since with Energize being a thing, you net so much advantage because you draw if you're the second player, and you get Energized. You net advantage from going second, so you could give them a dice that rolls low, and then you could roll high.
So it's like...
I've bought in many dice sets, and I can't tell you how many times that I've been like, all right, this is way too high. Yeah. And then I do the water test, and it's balanced to be on a 17.
Well, damn.
And at being a DM, I don't use that die. I purposely will throw it aside.
I can't say I blame you.
Unless the party really pisses me off, then I might break
it.
Just saying.
There are occasions.
There are occasions, it's just like, you know what? I'm tired of your shenanigans.
There you go.
Well, if you go to that at that point, fudging stuff as a DM, if it improves the experience, because I'm a fledgling DM myself, it improves the experience, sure. And if you don't want to, I don't know, murk the entire party because they got a couple critical fails, I've had to save someone's ass hardcore before. It's like,
was it Nate?
It wasn't the Nate. No.
Okay, go. Sorry, I had to guess.
One of the first times I DM'd, it was like, really? I know you're a new player, but really? You're the wizard. Get behind everyone, please.
I try not to fudge dice, but sometimes you just have to.
I'm the wizard. I'm going to run it in tank.
Yes.
Not to change it from card game topic.
Yeah, but you're fine. It's the fact of friendly competitions, or supposed friendly, quote-unquote,
competitions.
And the shenanigans that people will do thereof. Let's see. Okay, this actually goes into... basically, that's stuff that you should watch out for. If people's trying to hand you a dice, don't accept it. Use your own fucking dice.
Or roll the same dice.
Or, yeah, I'm sorry, I'd like to roll the same one that you just rolled.
Well, that's why it's better that we use a D4, usually, when we do our stuff, because you really can't cheat that much on a D4.
I mean, you
and
probably
even
could.
if they are weighted slightly one way or another, that's not going to change it much for one that has so few sides.
Agreed. Let's weight a coin, just whatever.
And about D6s, if you see a D6 and you want to make sure it's actually weighted properly, the easiest test to do without doing the water is look at the sides, and if there's a 1, the 6 is the exact opposite side, because the opposite sides always equal 7. If that's not the case on all the sides, that die is not properly weighted.
Gotcha. So check your dice, check your opponent's dice. Yeah.
Yep. It's because of the weight of the pips that they actually put the indentions on.
Yeah.
It actually throws it off if it's not the exact opposite side plus that number equaling 7.
Yeah. One of the other things going back to... Yeah, holy exactly. Shit. So, okay, the first water test you were talking about was for the D12s and up?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it for any die. You can do it for a D6, but, I mean, it's just a lot easier to just look at the D6 and say, okay, 1 plus 6, 3 plus 4.
So for D6, which is more what people will most of the time use, it's whatever. Going back to the top... Well, I'll try to close on this last little story real quick, just because this is actually a realm that I myself understand. And that is the realm of psychology.
I was just about to mention that.
You're about to mention that? Okay. One of the things we talked about was people trying to stack their cards. One of the things that is always done, and this is one reason I will tell you, if you're ever presented a deck and someone says, when they offer it and go cut tap, always pick it up and shuffle. I mean, sure, cut it, do whatever you want. Never, I will do it here at locals, but if you're at regionals, never tap. Always cut, always shuffle, do whatever. Reason being is I actually found this, I really never even considered this until this happened here at our locals. But when I realized it, I was like, oh, okay. Now, I purposely like to study psychology and everything thereof.
Neurolinguistic programming and
such. Specifically neurolinguistic programming, and that's some fun shit to know. Anyway.
Above my pay grade.
Yeah, I know, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, it's body language and subtle things that people will pick up on without realizing it subconsciously. Literally, the dude, I won't say the names. I don't care about saying Robbie's name because, it's Robbie. Dude here who did this, I will not say. But let's just say he doesn't play here anymore. Dude man would shuffle, would go to present. And you know how where people say it, they would say cut, tap. So when he would say that, he would actually put a little more emphasis on the word tap, and as well as he would actually physically tap the top of his deck.
And he wouldn't move his finger either.
He would move his finger. Or sometimes he'd do the double tap little thing.
That's true.
But he would purposely say the word tap with a little more emphasis and purposely tap the top of the deck. And more often than not, I would watch people do that, and they just go, oh, tap, you're good. And I don't know if he was actually stacking, but I'm sorry, that's going to give someone the subtle cue subconsciously of, oh, it's cool, I don't need to cut. So if
Especially
he was,
someone like me, I'm easily convinced to do anything.
that's what I'm saying. So, well, not that specifically about you, but I mean, let's just say the dude would win more often than not, and I don't know if he would stack. But when I noticed he actually did that, I just kind of looked at him and went, picked it up and just started shuffling, grinning like a possum.
Possum
Just like
grin? What?
Yes, they do.
Have you ever seen a possum?
Have you never?
Yes,
you've
I've
lived in
seen
the
a
South
possum
how
that
long
ugly.
and have never heard that?
That's true.
Anywho, but yeah, I just was like,
I've heard
gotcha,
someone like
bruh.
chase a cat.
Put it back. Cut, tap, tap, tap. And I purposely would just grin and purposely did that when I offered my deck. Let's just say he didn't stay playing here long after that. Shortly after he gave up Weiss, and I'm just like, really? Okay, that just proves you were trying to cheat.
Out his secret. That's why.
Yeah. So I'm like, really?
It'd be funny if he started listening to this.
I don't care.
Immediately found out.
Well,
He's
that's
like,
why I'm not saying names, so that's whatever. I did say it was a he, but we should not assume genders. If 2016 taught us anything.
Yeah.
Man, fuck that shit.
And
If you have an ex,
Stop.
Phil.
Let's not go there.
Stop.
Let's not
We're
go
not
there.
bringing up that
going
debate.
on to.
That's a really easy way to offend a lot of people. Let's not go there.
Yes. Please, Phil. I love you. No.
But no.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, any other closing comments before we're about to wrap it up in just a few minutes?
You need to segue on your.
We'll
thing.
do that. Anything
Okay.
else?
No.
As far as just like
No cheating. There you go.
in general. Okay.
say no to drugs.
Real quick, it's not really worth the time and energy to put it into cheating because in all that time and energy you put into figuring out a way to cheat to win,
Yeah.
you lose the sight and the actual experience of playing the game because you're so concerned about
That's true.
winning
Exactly.
that you just don't even enjoy the game. And yeah, it might feel good to win and you might get a couple prizes. If it's cash prize, you might get some cash. But eventually you're just going to be like, well, I hate this game now
Yeah.
because
This
I don't
game-
even enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
This game isn't fun because
Yeah.
if I can't actually play the game
No,
to do
I mean,
it.
I mean, more stuff to look out for. Whether that's people, purposely, oh, he's pulling out phone. Oh, no, shit. No. But there's a lot of things you can look out for. I cannot emphasize this enough. I know I emphasized this in the last podcast, but always read your opponent, read the cards. If you do not know what that card does simply by seeing the picture,
RTFC.
pick it up and read the fucking card. I don't care.
Some players might actually get pissed about that because some
You know,
of them
if
might
you
be
ask.
extremely protective over their card. Even if you ask,
No,
they might
no,
be a little defensive, like, I'd rather
If they're
going
going to
to
be
If
defensive,
they do that, they're cheating. I'm
if
sorry.
they're going to play a card
Exactly.
and they won't allow you to pick the card up and read it, then they've obviously got a reason they don't want you to read their card.
I mean,
just
They're about to
yesterday,
pull something that it shouldn't be doing.
I can understand. Okay.
Real quick thing about that. If you are one of those people who, and you're not truly cheating, you're not trying to cheat, but you just don't like anybody touching your stuff. There are
That's
people
fine.
that just have that mentality.
Yeah,
One thing I would suggest that I've done for when I've helped people learn different games is turn the card around, slide it forward to
There
their
you go.
play mat so they can just look down and see it.
Yes.
You don't even have to take your fingers off the top of the card to make sure they never touch it, and then just bring it back to your side.
That's perfectly fine and acceptable. It's in some way, shape, or form. As long as you get the point across, I'm sorry if you don't want me touching it, but I want to read your card.
Yeah.
I will pause this game to look up the effect on my phone if I have to.
yeah, that's
But
true.
I want to read what your card does. That's more what I'm getting to is find out what their effects do if you feel that your opponent is not explaining it to the fullest of their ability. And I cannot emphasize that enough.
Now, there is a difference between trying to cheat and just not fully understanding the mechanic of the effect.
that's true.
But that's where some people go, well, what if you do such and such? I don't know. It's like, it's your own card. Why don't you know? I'm not saying that happens to everybody, but it's the people who have been playing for years at that point.
At that point, they should know how the shit works.
'Cause I'm sorry, this is like one of the top tier decks. You ought to know your cards type thing. Once again, going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! More than anything. That's whatever. I know. I'm so sorry. I know I keep going off on
I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh!
glad I
haters.
got out in that
Okay.
shit when I did.
Yeah. But, Chris, okay. You were the one I was talking about earlier who was doing the charity thing on your Twitch streams. Tonight, would you please go ahead and send me the link for that, and I will be able to post that up when I post this podcast up on Tuesday.
Yes, absolutely.
Mucho
And you
appreciate
guys
it.
send me the link for your podcast, and we'll help each other out.
Much appreciated, man.
Quickly describe what you guys are doing. I don't know if I did a good
I
enough
think
job.
he did a good enough job, but go ahead,
Okay.
just to reemphasize.
So it's a group of us. I run an online D&D game through Roll20 Virtual Tabletop. It's a lot of fun. I DM it. We have the Discord chat running through the stream. We have the visual of the Roll20 Virtual Tabletop. That's the artist.
Go ahead, dude.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I can call him right back.
All right.
So it's really fun. I usually have some music playing. I have guest stars coming in at least once every week. We do it every Friday and Saturday from 10 p.m. Eastern time. Usually goes till about maybe 2, 3 Eastern.
For D&D, I have to ask this: which edition?
Fifth.
Fifth
It is
edition.
fifth edition.
Okay. I'm just. I know there's a thing for that.
Yeah,
There's some people who
yeah.
prefer others, but this
I'm
is
partial to 3.5, but not many people are. So
That's
fifth is
true.
the most recent.
Fifth is the most recent.
Okay, cool.
It's an awesome system. I'll also be posting the videos after the recordings. We'll have backstories from all the characters and everything like that posted as well. Keep you guys up to date. But it's just a lot of fun. It is not meant for kids because the players do sometimes use some language. But every month we're going to feature a special charity with a donation link in the chat and then in the description. And you can just go and donate. Right now, this month is Children's Miracle Network. And pretty much you get to pick the exact children's hospital in the United States that you want to give the money to, make any amount of donation, and only they get that, and they get 100% of it.
Don't send to National General Hospital in Rocky Mount. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So it's a really
Shameless
great
plug.
program.
No, I
But
said don't.
keep up to date with it if you want to check it out, even for a few. That'd be awesome. We usually have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Link in the description. Definitely check it out, especially if it's for a good thing, being able to donate for children's hospitals and all. But yeah, man. I know it was a random walk on, but hey, thanks for being with us. We're gonna go ahead and
thanks for having me. I didn't know you guys were even recording.
yeah, bro. It's shoot, it's cool. Any closing statements? Slap stomach. Okay.
Pink belly.
Anyway, anybody got any closing statements before we sign off?
Y'all keep playing good.
All right.
Be good, don't cheat. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Take all
thanks,
that
guys.
effort.
Yeah, man, take care.
all
See you,
that
Chris.
time and effort that you would put into cheating into making a deck that you
Yeah.
don't have to cheat with.
But watch
to
out
win.
for it. But watch out for it.
Yeah.
By far, because even if you don't, other people will.
There's always
That's
going to be
more
that
what
one jackass that's
more-
going to
yeah.
cheat.
Exactly. Next week, we're actually going to elaborate a bit more on what other stuff you can look out for, and this will actually help watching out for cheaters, is actually talking about public knowledge. And this spans across, once again, multiple card games. We're going to try to specifically elaborate on Weiss Schwarz as much as we can. Like, I know we delved a lot into Yu-Gi-Oh!, but this reasons for stuff. But we're going to try to delve into talking about public knowledge, the specific things that every player is entitled to, etc. So we'll look forward to that next week. And coming up right around the corner, we're going to have some interesting other little things coming up. Little things planned. I'm just saying. It was, y'all keep a lookout. We're going to go ahead and sign off for now. This is Kool-Aid. Freaking out over in the corner is...
8-ball.
And freaking out across from me is...
Joe Schmo.
And the one who seems perfectly calm is...
Matt.
Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.
Sayonara.